Justin was just unable to be here tonight. Okay. Okay.
We don't have the statement of, we don't have the statement of no conflicts on here this time.
Nope. I thought you said you.
Is that not required?
I thought you said you wanted to take it off. Nobody.
Oh, I didn't. I don't remember that.
All right, then I can put it back on.
Probably is required. I mean,
I've never seen it on anything before, but I can put it back on.
Oh, yeah. You want me to just put it in there? Or
well, yeah,
it's supposed to be, so,
okay. So I have no conflict.
okay. Declaration of conflicts. Does anyone have any conflicts with?
No.
Okay. Okay, did you make notes to put that on the next one? Okay. Okay. Approval of minutes from last council meeting.
I do have a proposed minor correction. In the last page of visitors, Robin Ackerman, it says Nez Perce County running mate, and it should be candidate for.
Thank you.
Oh. Instead of running mate, candidate.
Candidate.
Thank you.
And with that correction, I will move that the minutes be accepted as corrected.
Can I have a second?
I'll second. Take your pick.
So, who did the second for sure?
I did, I guess.
We'll say John did. Okay. So all four? Anybody opposed to that?
No.
Okay.
No. Yes, we did. Okay.
Alrighty. Next, bills to be paid. Do we have any concerns or any questions about the bills to be paid?
Do we have 84 trash pickups? I mean, it's been 84, but I know things come out. Are there actually 84 trash pickups? Have we ever counted?
That's what the total is on our sheet.
Okay.
On our billing sheets.
Right,
Right. Our billing, not their billing.
right.
Right. Okay.
When they,
Well, NATO bills us for 84. I just wasn't sure if we have 84.
84 or maybe one or two more. I'll have to look. I know that there's been 2 that have been taken off because they actually don't have trash pickup here in town. So it might have come down from the 87 that we had. So we might have maybe 85. I'll have to actually go and count.
But we should notify them
Right, right,
either way,
yes.
because they won't know that it's changed unless we tell them.
Right.
Was the work on the city truck done?
Yes. Last week or the week before?
Thursday of last week, I think it was the 20th.
I didn't pick him up this Monday.
No,
I picked him up last Monday.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
it was dropped off on Wednesday and picked up on Thursday?
No,
No,
dropped
dropped
off
on
Wednesday,
Thurs-
picked up Monday.
Monday, yeah. So the work was supposed to be done on Thursday, 25th or 26th, one of the two.
They called
got
us
done.
on that Monday, and as soon as he came in, we went down and got it.
Did he say anything about how it was driving on the way back? Better?
Seemed to be fine.
Okay. Do we have any more discussion about the bills to be paid?
What's the air bridge? What do we have there?
That's the internet.
Internet.
Internet. So they're showing us with a charge of 80 and a credit of 80? Zero
Because
balance?
it's set up to automatically pay.
Okay, so it pays out of the bank, is that?
General fund. Right, general fund.
And it should be split because part of it's water.
There's two $40 charges on there.
One's for the water and one's for the general.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a
It
separate
was
bill for
already
the,
set up. I'll have to look and see how it's broken down.
Do we have air bridge at City Hall, or is that the one up in
Yeah.
the water?
Yes.
line? Both. We have the Zipley bill too.
That's phone.
Okay.
I don't have any questions on bills. I move that the bills be paid as presented.
Can I get a second?
And just for your information, the intake runs on a telephone line, so you don't have to come on.
That's what I was wondering.
I wondered if that's what you were trying to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
So I have a phone at the plant and then the intake has a phone because it runs on the phone line.
But there's no internet down there, right?
No, it's just the phone line that calls for water calls.
So is that a dial-up or is that a?
Did you get that?
No, it's, I don't know.
It's a continuous line?
It's a line that the plant calls for water through the phone line.
when they discontinue the phone line service, is that going to affect the water line communication?
When they discontinue the phone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on?
They're gonna take out the copper, I think, or they're gonna discontinue
Yeah.
it.
Well, they're just gonna
So, well,
discontinue.
the phones will be fiber, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
Right, there won't be.
But it
any-
probably already is because it's Zipley Fiber that we're paying.
I don't have the
I'll-
fiber.
No, the
No,
company
no,
is
no,
called
no.
Zipley Fiber.
Oh, all right.
yeah, I'm gonna check with Phil too, because Phil's told me that there's another way we can go that's a lot
Yeah,
better.
well, what I'm asking is,
It would be cheaper.
is there a dial tone on that line or is it?
Not that I know,
It's hardwired to the water
Yeah,
plant, okay.
there's no
That was
dial
my
tone, it's
question.
just-
That was my question, okay.
I'm sure it's not fiber, but I'm sure it's.
Yeah, I wonder if they even ran it out that far to the intake.
Well, it has
Oh,
to
you
be
mean
to-
the fiber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
Something that needs to
Did
be
they
looked
run
into.
fiber up to you?
Mm-hmm.
So probably.
Came by us 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
up by her place, get to town.
see if Fowler's have it.
So anyway, I'll call Zipley Fiber and ask them about the intake and the plan.
So we had a motion and a second to
And
pay
it's-
the bills.
The second
Yes.
pay the bills has been approved. Any opposed?
no.
No.
Okay. Okay, old business. Giving an update on the MOU for Neskers County Road. I spoke to Roy. It's kind of been put on hold for right now. The council's gonna have to get together and, with the attorney and do some discussing, in regards to, we have 4 sections of road that goes up Angel Ridge, Old Melrose, New Melrose, and, oh,
What's the
I
other?
think that's out that way toward Big Canyon.
Right, but they were also counting Main Street, I think, too, in their total.
They are counting Main
I
Street?
think so, yeah.
Okay, well, there's the outlying roads, it weaves back in to our city limits and weaves back out. Well, we're gonna have to get with our attorney and, try to come up with an MOU with them, if one at all, because they're wanting to charge us to maintain the, portions of the city road, and it's like, the Angel Ridge Road is 0.27 miles where it comes back into the city limits. And then Old Melrose is 0.23 miles. And then New Melrose is 0.18 of a mile. It's very minimal amount of road, and it's gonna cost us a lot of money for them to maintain it. So I don't know, we're gonna have to get together and have a meeting again and meet with the commissioners and see where that goes. So as of right now, it's on a hold until we can get another meeting together and with everybody and discuss it with the commissioners as well. So it's not going anywhere yet. It's in the works. Yes, Jim?
Ms. Mayor, O'Connell, Dick Canyon Road. I talked with the county attorney about that. Has she talked to you directly?
No.
Okay, I was supposed to relay message to you.
Oh, okay.
So I'll talk to you later about that. How's that?
Okay. All I know is there was, Reisenauer was the attorney that was at the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
he was the one that was there, yeah. So we'll meet after the meeting and you can
Yeah.
give me the news. Alrighty. We have any other questions or about that?
I have nothing nice to say, I'll wait till,
Any questions? Any other discussion about that? Okay. So now, do we need to vote on that?
On the
Yeah,
MOU,
putting that,
we're just kind of on hold on that.
yeah, it's on hold, okay. Change of date of budget hearing is next. We had set it last month for July 17th. Well, after our budget meeting in Moscow, I'm going to suggest that we move that to August 15th at 9 a.m. to noon if possible, because we won't get all of our paperwork until the 1st of August, right? It's the first,
The
around the
county
1st.
doesn't release it
Yeah.
until the first,
Okay,
the end of last day of July or first of August.
I so move, Madam Mayor, that we make that change.
All right,
I second that.
all right. Did you get that? All righty, that's all of our old business. Anybody else?
Need to vote on it.
Oh, that's right, sorry. All of those for? All of those who oppose? Passed with unanimous vote. Alrighty, new business. We're repealing a resolution of 2023-03, resolution stating open hours for City Hall.
You can ask if the council wants it read or if they'll waive that and just go for reading the title of it.
Okay,
As long as you have half plus one, if they all agree, you can just read the title.
okay.
I agree to waive reading the whole ordinance.
Yeah,
Okay.
Can I have a second?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
yeah.
Any opposing? Alrighty. So I will read the title. Resolution number 2023-02 is the resolution of the City of Peck, Nez Perce County, Idaho, establishing hours of operations for the Peck City Hall and providing an effective date.
This basically just would give us more flexibility to change the hours of operation for City Hall, so we're not held to a resolution, where hours, they'd still end up being published, on City Hall and potentially that Facebook, website that's been going around in advance of the change, so.
Yeah. Like we got training coming up for Cindy, and she's gonna be gone for a week, and so with this new resolution, we'll be able to send her to training and be able to be flexible with those hours of the office being open.
Dissolving the resolution.
Dissolving the
I
resolution.
move that we dissolve, is that the right word? Say, here we say repeal.
Yes, repeal,
Repeal's
sorry.
Repeal's the one you like? I move we repeal that.
Okay, it has to be
We
read
have to
at
read
three
three-
meetings
yeah, we have to
before it's
read it at
official.
three meetings
Yeah,
before we
need
can.
this tomorrow.
Yeah, So,
You need a
do we have,
second.
do we,
I
oh, I
thought we
thought,
already did that.
Did you second it?
Well, if,
I did, after
if we
talked
can't act
about
on it
then
until we
started
read it
talking
3
about
times,
it.
there's
Yeah,
no
we
point
can't.
making a
Okay,
motion.
yeah.
You're right,
Yeah.
you're right.
so that's
Just checking.
So we'll table that until,
So basically
So
by
just-
the July meeting.
or
We'll just
at
know
the
that we
July
read it.
meeting, we'll
Yeah. Just know-
read it
know that we
again,
read it,
so.
yeah.
Alrighty, next, discuss ordinance 64, which requires every improved property in city limits to have a water meter. Okay, what this pertains to is, we've had a request to remove a water meter, because there's a fee. If you have a water meter on your property, there's a $63,
$66.38
$66.38 fee for having that meter. If it's a,
monthly.
yes, monthly fee. You don't get charged for water unless you use the water. Basically, I don't know how to put it.
Well, in 1975,
Yeah, what was
the
it?
city council passed the
Ordinance, yes.
in order to make the water system that they were installing viable, financially viable for the city.
Right. So-
And the purpose for that still exists. I mean,
Very much so.
yeah, we need to have the meters, the fees from the meters in order to maintain the system.
Right. And what we're wanting to do is update ordinance 64 because, like you said, it was signed on December 22nd, 1975. And it has not been updated since. So, did you?
The wording in the ordinance was a bit vague, the way it was written back then.
And the fees and the.
Well, obviously the fees
The
are
fees and
different.
everything, and the gallons used has changed, and all that stuff has changed. Prices have gone up, so we're just wanting to update it, right?
Yeah.
I
Update the
think we're
word.
gonna have the lawyer review it.
Yes, yeah, the lawyer will be a big part of this one. So,
And then dealing with the request to have meters removed.
yes, and then we can deal with the individuals that's requesting meters to be removed.
Because if a number of people start having meters removed, then the burden gets shifted to the remaining meters.
Right, so there will have to be a pricing influx.
So the idea is you have vacant land, you don't have to have a meter. If you have a building on the land, approved property, it has to be hooked up to the water, which is the case currently.
But would it be just a building, or even if you have a slab where there may or may not currently be sitting either a camp trailer or mobile home?
Well,
It's been
that would-
improved from just land
Right.
So
To-
it has a,
to
okay,
where it would,
because he said just a building, so
Right.
that's why
Okay,
I'm
yeah, I
clarifying
meant to
that.
say improved.
yeah. Any,
Okay.
any properties of it that have been improved from just
Okay.
land, so,
And even your tax base is different for the county, right?
right.
Improved land versus non-improved land.
So, this is just specifically for information, we're not doing any changing of it yet. We still have to meet with the attorneys. So, is there any more discussion on that?
Well, so you had presented to you, though, someone that had improved land that wanted a meter removed, so are you gonna vote on that? So that that person can, or are you
That's
gonna
why
wait?
we were gonna have them review.
You're gonna
We
wait
don't
on
wanna
that.
set a precedent.
Okay.
for
Right,
going
we
ahead
need
and
the
going
attorney
around
to-
and
All right,
removing
just
Yes.
clarifying.
Is that okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Am I right with that?
Can I have Carrie from Rural Water of Idaho call you and talk to you about that also?
Yes,
Yeah, that'd be
yes,
great.
please.
Okay.
Is there any
I
other?
don't think he might make a council meeting. I don't know if he could, but he might.
Okay,
I'll see.
so maybe we can see if he could be here next month.
Well, I can ask him, but you need to, I would really like for you guys to talk to him.
Yes,
when you're making
absolutely.
these decisions.
Absolutely. Do we have any other discussion on that?
If I may,
Hmm.
I maintain our water system at night. Of course, we go through the same hoops you guys do. Anytime you remove a meter or have a dormant meter, you have a dead line or a bacteria trap. You can't treat it because you can't flush anything to it. Your wording might want to say active meter, kind of like we do when we're, as a fire department, we bill on improvement, which means as somebody starts to do things to their property and the value goes up, our responsibility goes up with it, so we bill on improvement. And the beauty of it is somebody else gets to designate the improvement, i.e. the tax assessor.
Okay.
So we stay out of that argument. The tax assessor says there's an improvement, we act on that. In this case, because you don't want to have a dead line that you can't treat, work with, or anything like that, having a dormant meter still means you can open it
And
and
flush.
allow treated water to get to that point, because chlorine's not overrated. It's a good thing. And so if people want to just take a meter out, basically they're saying to you, I want to cap this line off, and I want to leave a place where things can fester and get sucked into the rest of our water supply. So you may want to take the focus from, I want to take the meter away so you can't charge me, to this is part of what makes our system viable and
Well,
all of
Yeah,
that.
but by that logic, then we would require anybody who doesn't use their meter to occasionally open the meter up.
Or dig it up, turn the corporation stop off, so you don't have a service line.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. But the bottom line is, you either have from where you've turned off the meter back to the feed line, that's still your responsibility, so you can do whatever you need to up to that meter. You're still in control of that section. If you want to open that meter and allow treated water to get to it to maintain the integrity of the system, that's still within your guys and all of that.
but the water has to have somewhere to go on the other side of the meter.
It doesn't take much to let a gallon of water go in and kind of bring it through. It's especially if we're in the process, I'm sure you guys do it occasionally, we shock our system, and during that high chlorine level, we go around and open everything and get shocking water to everything, so. But it might be an easier way to handle it, because I see you guys reacting to, we don't want to pay for this meter, we don't want to be a part of being charged. And in reality, to maintain the integrity of your system, you need to be able to flush everything to everywhere.
Right, and that's why we're wanting to get this updated, so it
Right.
more specifically explains that we're not doing this just for the money. There's other reasons why these ordinances are put into
Right,
place.
and I didn't want to set a precedence for people out of town buying a building, having a meter there, not wanting to have water.
Yeah.
Then we take the meter out, then they sell the property, then somebody else comes back in, then they want us to put a meter back in. There's a cost associated with all of that.
Yeah,
So
not
that's
only-
what I want to add to,
Not only
some
that,
of this.
anytime you have a meter in the ground, you have a resource there
Right.
that costs you something, and you're not recognizing anything for it.
Right.
So you've got somebody trying to dodge it and somebody else trying to maintain a good system. There needs to be
A happy medium in there,
yeah.
yeah. So yes, that's what we're hoping.
You know, allow people to take their meters out.
Yeah, we take meters out all the time, but, I
Who
think,
pays for taking them out?
what's that?
Who pays for taking them out?
Just to take a meter out, we just do it.
Oh, yeah.
We don't charge for that, but you guys have, equity buy-in and a service connection fee for new services?
We have a connection fee, but I don't think we have equity buy-in.
So we have a $2,000 equity buy-in, that's basically your Costco card.
It's basically
You know,
an
that's-
impact fee.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's. what
That
they're
makes,
saying
that
each
makes
one's
sense.
paying.
Most, I mean, at one
So if
point,
somebody buys a lot and there's already a service line there, a meter set, they don't have to pay an equity buy-in because that property's already paid an equity buy-in.
So they're more likely to leave it there, because
Yeah.
it's a value to the
Yeah, oh
property.
yeah,
Property,
it's a
yeah.
property.
mm-hmm,
But if you have a piece of property that's next to your piece of property and you're just going to have storage there, they would have no reason to want to
Right.
pay
Yeah,
for a
absolutely.
meter, you know.
Right.
The other thing is too, on your meters, and I know from I'm working on the Forest Service building right now, you guys have meter vaults. So getting that meter, taking it out, it's not like digging up a bunch of stuff, it's whipping open the manhole, going down there and taking it off. Here, we don't
have
have
to
meter
dig,
vaults, and you
yeah.
gotta do a lot of digging. So there's a sweat and tears to get to that, so.
Well, I mean, and you could require, if people really don't want to have that service to that property, for them to have to pay somebody to dig that up. And I'm assuming there's a corp stop on each service, there should be, but it's very hard to say if there is or
I
not.
definitely want to talk to you later on.
Yeah,
So far I've found it, but they're not always working.
Yeah.
Well, by making that meter of value to the land, you're actually keeping them on your side.
right.
We just want to have that reviewed and update the verbiage to make it applicable to our current situation. So,
Right. You may also want to consider doing meter vaults going forward, so that as things get connected or unhooked and rehooked.
are you gonna buy the lottery tickets?
Yeah. Anyway, that may be a way to make it easier on yourself later.
Yeah. We're working on finding money, grants, you know.
Oh, I know, trust me, I know.
Yeah. Alrighty, so,
Jim O'Connell had his hand raised.
oh, sorry.
Well, I had a meter removed, and I don't know if they actually removed the meter. We were paying for it for 4 years with nobody living there. And I thought it was a lot of money to rehook, a rehook up fee, like $1,800 was the number told to me years ago. And then when I asked, it was only $300 to rehook up the meter, so the next person buying the place didn't have a big expenditure. But maybe Amber can answer this. Did they actually remove the meter, or is it just turned off officially?
Well, that was kind of up to whether Dale wanted to take it out or not.
So we have no idea if the meter's there or not there then.
Well, you could just open the box. and look.
It's not on my well, I sold the property, but I'm still
Oh.
maintaining it for the guy. But it's off the property behind a privacy fence and
Oh, it's behind
Walker's
the
yard.
privacy fence?
Yeah, it's over in Walker's yard, the end of Walker's yard.
Oh, yeah, the one that had the bad leak?
It did, well, actually it wasn't a leak, there was a broke pipe in the building that nobody knew was there, a valve.
Yeah, there's a meter there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it actually, I guess the point is, it wasn't actually removed, but I wasn't paying for it anymore.
Mhm.
That's what the end result was supposed to be. We're not paying for water not being used at the time.
Yeah, they were kind of wishy-washy on that. One time it was one way and another time.
Yeah,
it
like I
was
said, it
another
kept changing,
Yeah,
I
so-
thought. so
And that's what we want to,
Codify it.
exactly, make it to where it's not, oh, this address doesn't have to pay, but that address does. It's what the ordinance says is what will happen.
If it would have been as easy as it was, I just had to write a letter, and then the city council approved it. And if I would have known that, I would have did it 4 years earlier, because of all the money I paid for an
Right.
empty place that nobody used. But I know it could change now, but that's what we were thinking then.
Okay,
Thank you.
alrighty, so, shall we move on?
Mhm.
yes.
Okay. Now is discuss at what dollar amount or length of time the water will be shut off on property or properties for lack of payment or payment in full.
No, again,
Th-
that's a question for
That's-
the attorney.
Yeah, that's a question for the attorney, but we are having, where's that?
Well, length of time is, there's two different things. There's
Right.
length of time paying partial or length of time just not paying.
Right, that's why I put it that way.
Are
For
kind of-
you all
are kind
to
of a
consider
different
which
thing.
way you wanted to do it. And
Isn't there a precedence already set? There's a precedence already set on that, isn't there?
We've turned off meters over the past, but I don't know why. You know, well, I know a number, you know, I've gone through and looked at the water meter shut off logs and stuff like that. But they don't really describe exactly why they chose to turn off a meter at that particular time.
They don't say line agreement?
Well, it was always, but why all of a sudden did they decide to do it?
Oh, they didn't say, because I know they had something set, I think it was 2 months.
Yeah, I believe ours is the second month that they have to pay.
Yeah.
After 2 full months of
Yeah.
missing a payment.
Yeah, and I don't do billing, but.
And that seems
that's
reasonable,
how it
that
goes.
seems reasonable.
And then we charge $35 to turn it off, $35 to turn it back on. If it's tampered with, it's a $75 tampering fee.
And what about,
Interesting.
you have any idea of the monetary amount, at which point?
No, it's just the bill, I mean, the
No,
bill,
I mean-
the bill due twice.
2 billings, doesn't matter what the
But
value
we
is.
send out notifications too,
I mean,
Yeah.
so they know.
I mean, if a person is net $10 off for a period of 5 months, that's a lot different than being $500 off for a period of 5 months. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you've got to say enough is enough, but you
But you're
don't-
saying 2 months of absolutely
No
no payment whatsoever.
As far as I know, it's just the total bill due, or, you know, or the majority of it probably. I mean, some people.
I'd probably have to call Donna and ask her.
Is there a,
Oh, Joni.
You Johnny here.
like in the power company, they're not allowed to turn it off during the winter months, or if there's children involved and stuff like that?
No.
Is that-
Well, and that's why, that's one reason why we're talking about it, too, you know.
Yeah, because we have some issues. Big issues with this.
Yeah, you gotta have some leverage.
Yeah, so this is another thing that we're bringing up so we can take it to the attorney and get some legal advice and legal verbiage on exactly what other,
It'd be a good idea to call the other cities and see how they do and get an idea.
yeah,
I would imagine the city of Orofino probably has something driving that thing, like an ordinance or
Yeah,
something.
I think
That's what
so.
I'm after, you know.
Should be backed up.
yeah.
Backed up, that one.
Association of Cities probably.
'Cause I
No,
know they have-
we do not.
They made an ordinance for everything else.
Well,
Right.
we made ordinances for things that made no sense, but, I'm sure it made sense at the time.
Yeah,
Doesn't
oh,
mean
possibly,
it's
yeah.
Of no value, but, you know, some situations are different. than
like the one,
others.
the number of chickens you can have.
And it changes over time. Things should be brought
Or
up to date.
horses.
Mhm.
Several of them should be.
That was in ours, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, we have a city ordinance that tells us how many chickens we're allowed to have in the
Oh, I
city
know.
limits.
I know.
Some of those are like historical documents. you know.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know, I don't want any
But it might be a good idea in case somebody wants to bring in a whole, you know,
flock.
herd of pigs or something. You don't have so many pigs, too. The town get pretty smelly.
Especially in the 117-degree weather.
Yeah. So you
We
might
have
wanna
pig
leave
farms
that even
back
though
where
it is
we're
funny.
from.
I think
Yeah.
there is an ordinance that says you can't run a slaughterhouse in town, something like that.
Well, that's good.
Alrighty. Is there any other discussion on this one?
No.
No.
Okay. Okay. City employee briefings.
I gotta find mine first.
Cindy, you're up.
You know what you did?
I got it.
Okay, so Jim and I both need at least, for him, at least a 2-step step stool. I only need a 2-step step stool. I cannot reach the air conditioner in City Hall unless I'm gonna stand on a chair or something, and that's not real good.
Does the maintenance department have any ladders?
Yeah, they
Big
should have a
ones.
bunch of ladders.
Big
Have
ones.
Good ladders.
They have big ones.
I don't know, but Jim
Not
said there was
something that
no
you would-
step stool, and
Well,
he
not a
has.
step stool for her.
Right, yeah.
No, I'm
He
not
said he
saying for
needed
her.
a step stool for getting up and being able to get over the motor of the truck.
Oh, yeah.
When he got the batteries, he wasn't quite sure, because we wanted to save the $60 per battery or whatever it was to install them. So when we brought the batteries back to him, I suggested, put them on your tailgate, drive the city pickup up, climb up on your tailgate, and then lean over. So I think that's what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a 4-foot ladder.
Yeah, something that's not huge and tippy.
So, but anyway, however we get them is fine, but a 2-step step stool, from what I could tell, was $29.99 each plus tax. So if somebody has something that will work for Jim, and somebody's got something that'll work for me, that's fine, but we both need something. And so I needed 2 more rolls of stamps. However, I added down here, after Cheryl and I discussed this, would like to get, because the price of stamps is going up to 80 cents a stamp,
1st of June.
Yeah.
July.
July. Yeah, sorry.
So, would like to get
Yeah.
Would like to get 3 rolls of stamps this month, which would be $195, and 3 rolls of stamps next month, which would be another $195. That should last us the rest of the year and save us $75 in the process. So, and I've been keeping track. I use about 10 stamps at City Hall. So most of that would go on the water department. So, because it's mostly for the water bills.
Where are we on sending out the,
Split.
Well, that's true.
where are we on sending out email water bills?
So far, I only have you councilmen.
What is, have you, you're gonna put a no, invitation
we're
on
gonna-
the next water bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll
Do you
get
want
what
it-
we get.
Do you want to just do that, or do you want to do any kind of a first time, 1 bill only incentive to sign up to save us the money?
If they don't like it, they say, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're not gonna force anybody to have their bill emailed to them.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Just,
I'd probably never get my bill paid because my personal anyway.
I-
I just have it sent to the email. At City Hall, or I'll just have it sent to my husband.
There you go. Here's your bill, dear.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
All right,
so, yay or nay on my 3 rolls of stamp this month and 3 next month?
can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to buy all the supplies just as discussed.
Oh, ladder, or step stools and stamps? Can I get
Sure.
a second? Okay.
Second.
Rob and John. Any opposed?
80 cents for a stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still losing money in every letter.
Make it up in drawing.
Yeah. Okay, so those 2 were approved.
Oh, wait a minute, there was one other thing on here. The TSC has fast orange for the City Hall bathroom for when Jim comes in with his hands all grubby and the soap in there doesn't cut it, and that's $4.99 for 1.
Also, yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, it was unanimous,
Yes.
so.
Yep.
Somebody called me a hillbilly recently.
They found out you lived in Peck.
Did you have anything else?
No.
Amber?
Okay, first, on the one from last month, on those, remat couplers,
Yeah.
they told me that the reason on the different torque on them was because, yeah, but then the council has to decide to, all the council had to know that there was a different size gasket in this, why they figured it was a different torque. And so we need to approve if you want to buy that to replace them.
Yeah.
So there was no cost difference?
No.
Oh, we still haven't replaced those?
No, I was
They're just
curious
put on
about the
hold last
difference in
time.
the torque when we went ahead and used a 20 foot-pound torque for one side and a 30 for the other, if there was a difference in cost or, you know.
Now, did you ask if one is theoretically better than the other, or are they the same?
It's gonna be what they have and what
Gotcha.
they've gotten.
Yeah.
And then if they change things, they'll put a different gasket in.
Yeah.
They probably wanted to charge
And
$100 more. So they
that's
put
the
gasket.
only thing for purchase on this one, right? Is just
Yes,
those
yes,
couplers?
yes. Everything else was taken care of.
Okay.
So you need to
I
approve.
make a motion to approve the purchase of the couplers.
Second.
Any opposed?
It was the one that I was asking about last time.
Okay. Yeah.
Those yellow things.
So Amber, is that something you're gonna order, or do I need to do it?
And I'm gonna order it.
Okay.
Do they ship it here or do we go pick it up there?
They'll deliver it.
Seconds, I'm just making sure
They'll
nobody
deliver it.
opposes,
So we just
you
have to
don't
make sure
oppose.
that somebody's that Jim's here.
Okay.
And it'll come on a Tuesday.
Okay.
Almost always. I'm not sure it comes on a Tuesday.
Are they the same people that give you your chemicals and
Yes.
stuff to the plant? Yeah.
Well, no, that's outside.
Okay.
This is,
Ferguson.
yeah.
This is Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson.
Okay, and then I wanted to get some page dividers, and it's for the meters. We're supposed to build a notebook with, each meter is supposed to have its own little thing in the notebook. So I want to get some page dividers for it, for lead and copper thing that we're doing. And then I wanted some extras, because for in my maintenance book that I've set up, we've got everything for maintenance in one book.
I think I have a whole binder of page dividers.
Hmm?
I think I have a whole binder full of page dividers somewhere.
That's fine, I just need page dividers.
I'll
And
look.
then I need air filters for the air compressor. I got oil changed and everything on it. And every 2 years I do the air filters, and they're $17.49 each. I need 2 of them. And I need to buy 5 gallons of oil for the air compressor, and that's $240. And it will last about 5 years, because it only takes a gallon for me to do the 2. That comes in a 5-gallon bucket thing. And I got the oil change, greased the motors, and I want to get the CIP started. And the water report I didn't get because we didn't read the meters. And then Justin's supposed to be doing the backwash pond and the fire hydrant, and also he needs to caulk the reservoir when he gets settled down with all his stuff.
Okay, so do we want to forget about the dividers until he checks for his box of dividers?
I'll look tonight.
Yeah.
I'll look
If we
tomorrow.
don't find it,
I used to have
We
like-
could, can't we
Go
just
ahead and
buy him
approve
if he
it.
doesn't have them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
we're
say.
not gonna
Yes.
wait till another.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
We need to
so we
start
can
on
just
that.
approve,
Yeah.
can I get a motion to approve the purchase, okay?
Second.
Second, third.
For all
That's-
3?
Any opposed? Yeah, we're talking about all 3
Yeah,
items that
Yes.
you wanted, yes.
The oil, the
Dividers
dividers.
and the
And the air
filters.
filters.
Okay, yeah.
So
Any
moved it?
opposed? He moved, Rob moved, and John seconded it.
Thank you.
Actually, Milt seconded, I thirded.
Or, yeah. So there's,
Got
it's
it.
unanimous.
Gosh. That's all I have.
Alrighty, moving on. We have Joe Gish with us tonight. You wanna go ahead and introduce yourself and,
Here, I've got some,
So you're
Right,
not, are you not gonna
passing out.
charge us to maintain the roads?
My snow removal question in Waha was a loaded question.
I'll answer, I'll kind of answer that as I talk. I've got some signs over there, so if you want a yard sign, feel free to take it. I'm Joe Gish, I'm running for Nez County Commissioner, District 3. I'm running against Robin Ackerman and John Roy, and then Bob Hasnerall, is how you say his name. So anyway, I'm pretty new to this campaign thing. This is the first time I've run for something. I've been appointed to several boards. So I'm learning my way around. My wife is Ramona Garner Gish, and she actually lives right up Old Melrose grade. So, and her sister's still living in the house up there. So I actually married somebody kind of close to home here in Peck. And she says I need to tell everyone more about myself, and I'm very uncomfortable talking about myself. So you're going to be the test audience for this. So here's my bio. So I was raised in a single-parent household, and she grew ill, and I ended up living with my grandparents out on Webb Ridge Road, actually. It goes off to Webb Road. So I'm a Lapway High School graduate. I came there when I was in 9th grade, and I know that Lapway seemed like a rough town, but it was a great town for me because I was pretty mixed up, and there you can't be a nobody. So everybody had to kind of go to the football team or do something, or things wouldn't run. So they were really good to me. And I still have a warm place in my heart for Lapway. I know that they're having some tension there now. It wasn't there when I was there. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I've heard there's some racial stuff going on. It's probably this DEI stuff that's going on. But I really enjoyed my time at Lapway. And then I went to U of I for 2 years, and I took computer science. And that's back when we did punch cards for the big mainframe computers. I did that for 1 semester at least, and learned the computer science. But I wasn't getting the classes I needed because of the registration system goes on your last initial, and that program was completely full. So I ended up transferring to Texas A&M University, and I got my computer science degree there. Worked high tech in Bowen at Dallas for 2 or 3 years, and then I joined the Navy as a pilot. And so I went through AOCS in Pensacola, did the flight program in Corpus Christi, Texas, and then ended up flying P3s with the U.S. Navy, and did Westpac, which I was stationed in Hawaii. So the P3 is a big submarine hunting airplane. So it's about as big as a 737. It's got 4 big turboprop engines on it, and torpedoes and all that kind of stuff. I was right at the end of the tail end of the Cold War, so I only flew on a few Russian submarines, but they were the boomers that were protecting the country from nuclear missiles. So it was cut and dried. My son is in the Navy now, and it's a whole different place now. He did a briefing. He's in cyber warfare. He went into computers too. So and he had to give a briefing, and he's back in Maryland, and they had a trans officer in the audience, and he misgendered him, and he thought he was going to, get captain's mast for that. So none of that kind of stuff was going on when I was in there. So it kind of tells you the state of the country right now. And he has a year left on his contract, and he's going to be coming back here because he's just fed up with the Navy. So, and he almost got kicked out because he wouldn't take the jab. So anyway, speaking of that, while I was here, I met my wife, and we got married. We've been married for 36 years now. Like I said, she was just right up the grade there that followed me around with all my Navy stuff. And then when I got out of the Navy, active duty, I was active duty for 6 years, and went to the Seattle area and started working for Boeing, and did reserves for another 15 years. So I had 21 years total, and then I retired. While I was at Boeing, I started out as an author of flight operations manuals, and then I ended up using some of my programming skills, did a new publishing system for them, then went into system engineering, then went to the military side, started working on P8, which is a 737 replacement for the plane I flew in the Navy, the B-3 Orion. And I was working the training devices for those as a systems engineer. And then I made the horrible mistake of going into management. And so I left all the engineering behind and started managing people and doing cost accounts and project plans, and went through all their project management training, and eventually moved from Seattle to Oklahoma City, where we opened up a classified lab and were supporting the AWACS, which is the Air Force, that big old 707 that has a big antenna on top. And I always wanted to do airlines, so when I turned 55, they were having a pilot shortage. So I talked to Horizon Airlines. They were like, yes, we'll take you even though you're old. And so I retired from Boeing and then moved back to Lewiston in 2017. Got a job with Horizon and actually flew the Q400 into Lewiston several times before the Lewiston base shut down for Horizon. And did that for 3 years, upgraded to captain, and I think I was captain for about 8 months, and then Brian Diatley asked me if I would fly their King Air for the Diatley company. And so that's what I'm doing now. So I'm flying the King Air out of Lewiston, and it's so much better than the airlines. So anyway, that's how I got here. So I think I left here in 1983 and came back in 2017. And so we've been back 6 years. And since I got back, or right when I got back, my wife had some health problems, so I had to take a little break from the airlines, and I took care of her for a while. And do you remember when the board disintegrated at the Lewiston Airport, and they had to, well, I had just gotten back. I had read the stuff in the papers, and I thought, wow, this is a mess. But she wanted me to put my application in when they were rebuilding the board, so I went down to the county and put my application in, and they chose me. So I ended up getting on the airport board the first time. Found out there was a huge amount of corruption at the airport, and it seems like every airport has drama, and this one, I mean, it had a lot of drama. In fact, friends that I knew in the military were close to the FAA because they had gotten jobs in civil service, and the director of the FAA was getting status reports in the Lewiston Airport monthly. That's how bad it was. Anyway, they rebuilt the board. I don't really want to go into the particulars of the situation, but I got kind of threatened, and they weren't giving me any financial data as a commissioner on the airport board. And part of the JPA is you have to be able to look at the finances to do the oversight. And I talked to the county commissioners, and they talked to the prosecutor there in Nez Perce County, and nobody did anything. So I ended up resigning because I couldn't do my oversight job without getting access to the financials. We found out that what they were hiding is somebody had the fuel contract, wasn't paying the contract fuel tax to the airport, the fee. And so that's what they didn't want me to find. And when I was at Boeing doing cost accounts, the most I'd ever managed was $20 million on a project. Well, there are several projects that we had going on. So I learned to really scrutinize budgets. So I have that ability, and I think they were afraid if I went in and really dug into the airport finances, I'd find out what was going on. So in fact, they fired the finance gal, so I wouldn't get to talk to her. Gary got on the airport, they got it straightened out. I got back on the airport board 2 years ago, and it's just running beautifully now. We've got a new manager who's just outstanding, and we've gotten all the gremlins from the prior corruption out of the budget now. And what's interesting is you're talking about grants that you were looking for. Well, 2 out of the last 3 years, the airport's owned 50-50 by the county and the city. And so they're supposed to share the shortfall of the airport, because an airport really needs to have 100,000 enplanements before they become self-sufficient. So we're probably about 55% of the money to run the airport we generate. The other 45%, we rely on the city and the county to plus us up in our budget, because we're not a taxing authority, so we can't tax like a port tax that some taxing districts have. So, for the 2 of the last 3 years, while I've been on the board, we've found money to fill that gap, and we haven't asked the city and the county for money. We had to last year, but this year we got a grant from the state, and that's filling that hole. So I don't know if the city and the county, I doubt it, that they're passing on that to the taxpayers. I know the county did a 3%, which was the highest amount that is legally allowed last year. I say that just so that you know that the $62 million budget is what the county has. And I don't think any of my opponents have really looked at a budget that large and know how to deep dive it and really kind of find if there's money hiding in there that you could reduce. And I'll get in there, and Patty Weeks does the budget. She's the county clerk, and she does it. I'm a Republican, she's a Democrat, but I've seen the budget, and she does a pretty good job laying things out. So it should be information that I can deep dive, and if there are efficiencies, hopefully I can find them. I haven't done that. It's something that you really need to get into the job, live every day before you can do it, before you can find that kind of stuff. I recently joined the URA board, which is called the Urban Renewal Agency Board, and I am not a fan of the URA. And you guys pay into it. It's kind of a slush fund. It's an added tax over what the city and the county get. And there's some really bad structural things. And I didn't really want to be on the board, but it turns out the gal that does the finances at the airport is the chairman of that board, and they had a vacant seat. And you know, I see you guys have a vacant counselor seat. It's hard to find people to fill these things. They're all volunteer. The airport's volunteer, URA's volunteer. So she worked on me for 2 months, and it was kind of reminiscent of my wife getting me on the airport board. And so finally I said yes, so I got on there, and I'm trying to bring some discipline. It's not like you can go in there as one counselor on the board and then change everything. So what I don't like is that if you look at their project plans and these RAAs that they open up, they're obtuse, and it's really more of a slush fund. And it's really hard to understand all the way they get their money and how it's used and what it's supposed to be used for. But I've gone to the documents and looked, and we're not really living up to the spirit of the URA, and I'm trying to slowly change that. If I do get win the election for the county commissioner, the county has a seat on that board. So if I win the election, I'll resign that board, I'll resign the airport board, because that'd be a conflict of interest. But I'll probably get reassigned to the URA since I'm so familiar with it as a county commissioner. And the first thing I'm trying to do is bring some discipline to the project plans, because there are specific reasons to have a project in the URA, and it's supposed to generate so much extra property value in whatever that project is that you get that money back in the future, and then some, and then that goes on forever because that property's there. And they have no way to measure that now. And so what I'm trying to do is first bring discipline, so you can say, okay, here are your assumptions, and here's your plan, and here's your milestones, and here's where the payoff is going to be. And they don't do that now. You can't go back and look at a baseline and see how they do it. So I'm trying to do that for the URA. So that's a URA. Other things that I've been involved in, and like I said, I'm not really somebody who wants to be a public person. So I've been doing all this stuff kind of on my own, but election integrity has been a big deal. And so I'm a database guy, so send me the stuff, I'll take care of it. I'm a database guy, so I've been scrubbing the voter registration database and all the voter history, and I've been actually very successful. We've gotten thousands of people off the voter rolls in Idaho that have moved out of state or died that were still on the rolls. And I actually, to get the death data that I needed to look at the people that were on the rolls that were actually dead, I had to get it from the Department of Health and Welfare, and they wouldn't give it to me, which was illegal, but they wouldn't share that information. So we put a bill through the House, or the Boise legislature down there, and it got signed. I got that information. There were about 1,500 people that were dead that were still on the rolls. And then by looking at the database and the National Change of Address database, we got probably about 30,000 other people off the rolls that had moved out of the state but had not canceled their registration. So you hear about election stuff all the time nationally. In Idaho, except for Ada County, Idaho is in really good shape, and it's because the county clerks have a lot of they have a lot of authority about how the election's done, and you can see there's a movement to pull stuff to a central location in the Secretary of State. And I've been trying to pump up the county clerks, because if you have it distributed, then you have, for a submarine, we look for choke points. The Secretary of State would be a choke point for fraud. Whereas if you have it distributed over 44 counties in Idaho, you'd have to corrupt all those 44 counties to really corrupt all of Idaho. So if you ever see that, always support your county clerk. And I think we've got a fairly good one, even though she's a Democrat and I'm a Republican. I'll say that. Okay, so I put a bill in this year, and Cindy Carlson ran it. Cindy Carlson has endorsed me, by the way, and I think it's because of the work we did on this bill. And what the bill would have done was give us access to the vaccination and the death data for the state of Idaho under an NDA, so you could go in and look at it, correlate it, find out what the vaccine did to the residents of Idaho. It made it through the Senate, it sailed through, and then somebody figured out what the bill was going to do, and it got killed in the Health and Welfare Committee in the House by one vote, and there were several Republicans that voted against it. Mike Kingsley voted for it, and he was trying to champion the bill through, but it didn't work. But I'm good friends with Mike Kingsley, and I've worked with him on a lot of stuff down in Boise, and he's endorsing me also. So I've got Cindy Carlson's endorsement and Mike Kingsley's endorsement. So those are the bills that I've run. So now I'm going to get to why I'm running. So property taxes is a big deal. Everybody, their property tax went up by like 40%, residential property taxes. Mine did too, and I had a new garage that I built, and that jacked it up even more. A lot of people don't understand property taxes, but you've got one big pie that is the budgets of all the taxing districts that you pay into. And there are cemetery districts, library districts, fire. County is about 20% of that pie. City of Lewiston is 50% of that pie. You're probably part of the pie here. This is where what's happening nationally is affecting us here, because we've got refugees from the blue states that are coming here because they want sanity, right? And they have taken the market prices of residential property and jacked them up almost 50% over 2 years. And we have no mechanism for controlling that market shift. And so non-residential went up maybe 3 to 5%. And so you have 50% on the residential side, 3 to 5% on the non-residential side. And so the burden of all those taxes goes away from non-residential, industrial, corporate, to people who own homes. And that's why it got jacked up. So here is my plan for putting that right. And it's going to get worse if the plan doesn't work. If this plan doesn't get executed, it will get worse, because it's only going to get worse in the blue states. And we're going to have more people coming here, and they're going to keep raising the market value of our residential property. So there's a thing called a homestead exemption in Idaho state statute, and right now it's $125,000. It hasn't been changed for 8 years. Before that it was like $100,000. But to balance out what happened, it would need to be $250,000. The problem is the state is not the place to put that homestead exemption, because other counties haven't had the market rise that we have. We're the highest in the state as far as the residential housing prices going up. I think what's happened is people have discovered Lewiston and these areas, and that's what's jacked it up, is they're moving in for that nice climate. And so my bill will propose that it's $125,000, or as set annually by the Board of Commissioners in the county the homestead resides. That's all it is. It's like 12 words. And if it passes, then the county commissioners can look at the market prices and just adjust that so that both just, it'll stabilize property taxes is what it will do. And I've looked at it every single way. I mean, you know, people look and they say, oh, my values have gone up, it's Dan Anderson's fault, but he's got to reflect the market. So there's really little that the county commissioners can do or Dan Anderson can do to change it because the state has their hands tied. So I'm going to run this bill whether I make it into the county commissioner's job or not. So, you know, that's that. I just want to get that done like these other bills. You know, it's something that needs to get done. I have a couple of different legislators down there that are interested in running it through the process. So that is my plan for the property taxes. But if you look at property taxes, we're about the highest in Nez Perce County. We're about the highest in the state. If you look at, we are the highest. Yeah. I was looking at, I knew we were number 1 or 2, but yeah. So what's happened is over 50 years the budgets have gone up and our growth has been around 0.5% in this county. So what you're doing is you're jacking up these budgets, but there aren't any more people to pay into it. So each one of us has a bigger piece of that pie we've got to eat when we pay our property taxes. And the only way to fix that is to have budget restraint and have some modest growth. And a lot of people don't like the growth word, but I'm just going to give it to you the way I see it. If we don't have some growth and we don't like hold that budget, then it's going to keep going up. And it's just the way it is. You've got to get more people to take the bite of that pie, and then it will distribute over more people. And you're probably seeing it with the water. You know, it's that way, you know, everywhere. So I'm going to try to use my ability to deep dive budgets to keep that budget at 0, or allow a modest growth, but only if we have enough people to offset it so that our taxes don't go up. But it's going to be something that gets fixed over years and years, because it happened over years and years, not this latest one. So anyway, I'm going to work that. The dams, I'm against the dams. Ranked choice voted, I'm against that. Why I want to run though is there's a storm coming in the United States, and everybody can probably feel it. Everybody's saying there's going to be some black swan event that comes, and there's a lot of things that you can do. The county commissioners actually have a lot of power, and they have the power through the ordinances. They have the power through the budget. There's a thing called a Board of Equalization that you can adjudicate property taxes if you think that Dan Anderson hasn't done a good job. And so we see a few of those in the county commissioner's office. But what you're doing is you're basically saying, wait, my property was assessed too high, I want it lowered, and then it will spread it out to everybody else. So you're kind of competing against your neighbors there. You're not just lowering your property taxes or the budget. The budget stays the same, it just gets distributed differently. So you can use the budget for power and you can use the ordinance for power. And in 2020 we saw these mandates that came down from the state and the national level. A lot of them came from unelected boards that they said were experts and that kind of thing. And I'll tell you, it's as simple as somebody in government stepping up and saying, no, we're not going to do that. And if you have to write an ordinance, you write the ordinance and you pass it. There's only 3 commissioners you're going to have to convince to do that. And I think that we can make Nez Perce County a hard target when those mandates come down, and they're going to come down for sure. The other thing that I'm really worried about, my wife says, don't say this, but because I think there's a normalcy bias and people don't want to really look at it, but we've had 10 to 15 million illegal aliens come over the southern border. In fact, our government is facilitating that. And they're going to the blue areas because they want to pump up the representation in Congress of those blue areas, but they're going to come here. And I talked to Daniel Levitt, who's the security guy at the courthouse, and he says they've already seen some in the jails here. So they're gonna make it here. And there are some simple things that we can do to make us a hard target and keep them out, because they'll go to some place that's easier. And that's what I want to do. And if we have busloads of illegals that are getting dumped here, there's lots that you can do in the ordinances to keep that from happening. And one of them is do an ordinance that has to do with human trafficking, and just say, if that driver comes across our line, he's going to be arrested and that bus is going to sit, because we're not going to let that bus in our county. There's things like that. I haven't figured them all out. If I get into the commissioner job, I'll have the legal staff that I can utilize to try to figure some of this stuff out. But that's what is really the reason I'm running, is during the 2020, COVID scare and all that, mandates shut down businesses and were put out, and nobody got up and said, no, we're not going to do that. And I'll tell you, I used to live in Kent, Washington when I was working at Boeing, and there's a town over there called Enumclaw. Does anybody know Enumclaw? They did not shut their businesses down in that state, in Washington, and they got threatened, but nobody did anything. So all you have to do is say no, and then the burden is on them, and usually they don't want to take that next step. It's just, you've got to have somebody in office that is willing to do that. And if they cross the line, I'm going to say, no, we're not going to do that. Just don't comply. So that's why I'm running. And one of the things that is a longer term project that I want to do is I feel that supply chains are going to be hit again when this thing happens. And if we have food shortages, if you look at all the emergency plans, it's usually for a localized disaster to bring stuff from the outside in, right? That's not what this is going to be. This is going to be supply chains, and we're going to need to go to local food to fill our grocery stores, and there could be, other types of things. We had toilet paper before, bullets, that kind of thing. And I want to create an emergency plan so that the county is organized for that situation. And one of them is another bill that would create an enterprise zone in a farmer's market. And I'd like to create a farmer's market where people can, not corporations, but people can bring food that they grow in their gardens and then exchange them and have it free of taxes and regulation. I was talking about I asked you, Shane, about the dairy up there. Well, the dairies have been wiped out because of regulation, and so have the butcher shops because of the USDA. And so we should be able to do that. We've got enough cattle to feed people here. We just don't have the ability to slaughter them to feed the population. We've got wheat all around. We don't have the ability to grind it into flour. The dairies that have been shut down. I mean, I used to go to your grandparents' dairy, and this is back in 1982, and dip raw milk, and then just put some money into an honor system. Remember that? I'd do quart jars, but now they say no, you can't sell raw milk to the public. Well, if this food thing happens,
there's a gal down in Asotin that does Washington and Idaho.
mm-hmm.
Because I have a dairy cow, and once it calves, she'll come out and certify me.
Oh,
They
really?
do some testing.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get certified to sell raw milk.
Okay, well, I would like to
But
create,
you gotta jump through some hoops.
right, and to me, I would like to minimize those hoops, because that's how they control.
Yep.
And we should be able to trade food back and forth. I mean, we're...
You can, as
Why-
long as you don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I would like a formal process so that it's not under the table. You can go and trade within this farmer's market, and then you don't get charged income tax in the state of Idaho. And when this all happens, everybody's going to have to unify. And I found that when you grow a garden, you got tons of friends because everybody's trading advice, and I think that'll create the unity.
So are you talking about like everybody going to Lewiston to a specific farmer's market thing? Or are you talking each
That's what
little
I-
town? Or
That's what I was thinking, but it's a, you know, this has been great. I've learned actually a lot just listening to your meeting. And in, like, for instance, looking for a grant to work your water supply. It seems like the county should be able to help you search for grants because they've got people that search for grants all the time. And they don't do infrastructure though, but they talk to Lewiston, and it seems like the county should be able to help you find that money. And that's one thing that I'm going to take out of this meeting is to do that. Then the other thing is, like, you've heard the county fair building is leaking, and it's going to cost like $1.2 million to fix the roof. Well, you know, why don't they go to Clearwater Paper, the banks, and, you know, let them put their advertising on that building and have them donate. I think they can come up with $1.2 million. That's something out of the box. And I think for the water system, you could go to like Peters and Keats or somebody and try to get them to donate at least like the backhoes or whatever to bury the water lines. There's a lot of creative things that you could do to work that. And
I've had a question on,
Yeah.
on the fair roof. That's something that's come up at a lot of the forums, where you've been and where some of the other candidates have been. And it's almost like there's a trade-off, like you can repair the fair roof, but you can't have a Lenore Bridge. You've got to choose one or the other. And I'm wondering, isn't the fair supposed to be self-supporting?
well, yeah, I haven't deep dived that. I'd like to look into it. I know they charge. It seems like they should be, but they probably haven't had the foresight to create that fund. You know, usually you look at something, you say, okay, this thing lasts this many years, and we've got to put a fund so that when we get to the end of the life of the roof or whatever, that money's there. Lewiston has been horrible at that. I mean, just look at the water treatment plant. There was supposed to be a fund, and they robbed that, and
Like a capital layout.
yeah, right. And you know, the airport's guilty of it. You know, they have elevators and, you know, all kinds of stuff, and now we're starting to do that, but they weren't doing that before. But yeah, that's right. But to me, you know, they got Safeco to build a whole stadium over in Seattle. So let's start leaning on the businesses and seeing if we can get them to donate money and think out of the box on this stuff. It's not a zero-sum game, and I think that people, they just need new ideas. And a lot of times what I've found in all the stuff that I volunteered for is there's usually a way to do something. It's just whether somebody wants to do the work. And,
Right.
And I'm the guy that will do the work. I've been doing it on the airport board, and now I'm doing it on the URA. And so, anyway, you have a question?
As a pilot, I appreciate what you're saying. I've probably written more grants in this town than anybody else to get our
Absolutely.
fire
Yeah.
department to where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
It's a booger.
Yeah.
When we're living in the county that taxes the highest of the entire state, it really makes me question that. The other thing is, I'm in the process, and Jim, my commissioner, can vouch for this, and all the time, in the last 24 years that I've been the chief here, we have never raised the rate on our fire department.
Mm-hmm.
We bought a new building and everything else. We've gone after the grants. We've done well.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest problem in all that I've done has been our county commissioners.
Really?
Yep.
Yes, and the
Road
hardest
bridge.
people to deal with are the ones on the road department. I'm trying to come across the bottom of the road right now to get water. We've already gone and got our water permits and everything from the state of Idaho, gone through the whole rigmarole with the tribe telling us we couldn't do it. We won that argument and everything. Now I need to come under the road from the river to the fire station, and my biggest hurdle right now is the county commissioners and the road department.
Is Doug in charge of the road department now?
Yes, he's leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, what's
Don
up?
Beck, Don Beck.
Oh, Don Beck is, okay.
But he's leaving.
Okay.
And
They're all chicken.
the guy that you got in charge underneath him,
Roy?
Roy, oh, we're gonna have to do a bone dig because there might be a bone under the road and when we dig the ditch through it. I have had more things thrown up in my face, reasons why we can't be successful.
How come we
Yeah.
can, how come we can bore fiber all over the place?
Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't,
yeah,
yeah.
So when I listen to you, I'm all on board.
Mhm.
But so help me, somebody down there at the county commissioners has got to stop being the biggest thing we have to surmount to put out a fire.
Mhm.
And it's
Quite
getting
literally.
really frustrating.
Yeah, I hear you.
I
and
like
I
what
don't-
you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know all the details of these various different problems. I had somebody that, you know,
Well, I like what you're saying.
yeah.
I live up a gravel road, Little Canyon here.
Mhm.
The roads are the worst they've ever been.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
And I've had springs on our tender break driving up that road. It's so rough trying to get water up there.
Right, so
So,
I totally hear you on that, because I 3 months ago, I went
all
down the
I'm
grade here.
saying is
and
you
it
got a
was-
big challenge ahead of you.
Yeah,
You wanna
I
do
understand
this.
that. Actually,
Moving on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're running,
Okay.
have other people that need to speak
so
tonight
Gish for
too.
Commish, there's signs over there. I really appreciate your vote and get the word out because, you know, I'd really like to help with these problems. All right, thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you very much. Jessica, you're up next.
All right. All right, hi everyone, my name is Jessica Holtz. I live up Little Canyon Road. I've been here for about 3 years now, and I am the president of the newest club in town, the Little Big Canyon Club. And so we were the ones that put on the chili feed not too long ago, and we're... Huh?
Thank you.
And we'll do it again next year. And so we have plans to have events coming up, and we have all these different ideas, and we just want to know what kind of hoops we need to jump through if we wanted to do, say, a farmer's market, or if, from the sounds of it, there's going to be probably a lot of state tax kind of stuff going on, or state guidelines that we have to jump through. So what about like a flea market then? Like, is there stuff that we can do instead that's not going to draw a lot of attention on us as far as the state and that kind of stuff? And then as far as using, say, the park or the community center, what do we have to do in order to do that if it is possible? Do we need to present it to the city council a month prior to the event or a couple months prior to? Is there a fee that we have to pay for the community center? If there is, because it's a community event, can we have that waived or at least lessened a little bit? So yeah, just kind of things like that. We just want to know the ins and outs before we start planning all this stuff and making things happen. And then it's like, oh, whoa, whoa, wait a minute here. So
Yeah.
it is brand new. Yeah, we're brand new. And so
I would
we
like
don't
to
know.
first, I would like to introduce you to Elaine.
I've done estate sales at flea market and everything for 35 years, so I'm on board to help you.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, we'll definitely connect afterwards then. Okay.
And Jessica will call you back.
That's right. Yeah, I might blow up your phone too.
Yeah, 2 or 3 quarterbacks. You will call me back.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought we could discuss something to work out so that it could happen.
And then, sorry.
Oh,
forgive
no,
me.
go ahead.
And then we were talking about events like doing, say, like a Peck cleanup, or, what was the other ones that we were discussing? Or, like a Peck days kind of thing. It seems
Yes.
like every little town does something days, and so it'd be kind of fun to do that. I understand that we're probably a little late in the game for this year. I mean, we're getting into a very busy season for everyone, and it's going to be hard to plan something and have a good turnout. But we would like to know what we can do, what we can't do, and like start making things happen.
Yeah.
Well, first I'd like to say we absolutely need a committee because I I myself and Cindy and Elaine can't do it all by ourselves. So let's get it.
That's why we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm giving you Elaine. You guys can get together. We've tried this once before and it didn't pan out. So I think it will be better this time. We can start planning things. We can start getting with legal, finding out if there's any legal issues by doing this stuff. We can start with the council working out payment plans, or if we want to charge for things, we can start working these things out. We've got to be fully committed though. There's a lot of work detailed. Elaine wants to get a Peck cleanup day. I'm all for it. We want to clean up behind the school, redo the stairs and stuff, clean them up, get them painted and stuff. A lot of weed whacking, a lot of tree removal. We want to do fire prevention. You know, there's a lot of things we want to do, but we need the blood to do it, the fresh blood. So.
We got it.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of advice on the fees, trucking fees. We did away with everything because Idaho State has a statute that if you open up your private property for private use, that you can't be, if you open it up for free, you can't be sued. So we did away with all of our fees for the park and all of that stuff.
Oh, you did? Awesome.
Because we had a lady tried to sue us when her daughter fell off of some playground equipment. And our city attorney found that statute and said, do away with all your fees.
We need to find
Sweet.
that statute.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
we
the
need to-
recreational use.
And that's what I'm
statute.
saying. Yeah, we need to get with legal, find out exactly what the requirements would be. But yes, we are wanting to get these things going. Absolutely. So we need to work together. I've got you on my text.
And if you don't, I have
Yeah.
I have all of their numbers.
We have,
Each other's numbers.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Talk about
So we need to dovetail into what they're doing. Because yesterday, we had the helicopter up here.
right.
We trained all the, 9 new guys that had hot loaded under rotors. We'd like to get with them when they do something here in town, bring the helicopter back,
Exactly.
let them sell life flight
Insurance.
insurance or participate in it. I don't know if they call it insurance or
Membership.
Yeah.
It's a
membership.
member,
yeah.
Anyway, involvement.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And the last time we had a parade in this town, we used our fire trucks, and that was a heck of a long time ago.
If you look at the sign when you drive into town, it says established 1905.
Yeah.
Next year is 2025, which would be
Right.
our 120 year.
But I think it was 100.
100 year. Yeah.
We used the fire trucks and.
Yep. So
I-
this would be the
I'm
time for us to
nervous
start to
because
work
we had
on that.
kids riding on a truck
Yes.
going at 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, I remember.
But anyway, yeah, we should be able to do a lot of that kind of stuff
Exactly.
together. And it doesn't all have to happen down at the station, it can happen up here in town too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I had to bring to you, I'm cutting into.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Is just to tell you that we're back online with all of our trucks. Our number 1 truck, the red one that was
That was out. Yep.
new engine, it's done, it's running, they took it to town today and back. We're back up to
Sweet.
100%.
Awesome. Sorry to interrupt. Did you have anything else?
No, I believe that's it. I mean, our mission is to bring the community
Yeah.
together, to help
Yes.
the community out as much as we can, so.
We'll be getting together. And did you guys share numbers and stuff? And
Were you gonna go to a half an hour early to
Yeah.
Bunko tomorrow to talk to
yes,
them?
yes.
You wanna tell her that?
Did Cindy mentioned that I'm supposed to come to Bunko at 6 tomorrow and talk to you guys. We'll
Does that way
discuss
we
stuff
talk a half an hour
for a
before
half
we
an
start
hour
playing,
before
we talk
Bunko.
about
So
that?
we can get some more ideas and I can write stuff down and
Yeah, that'd be
get
great, yeah.
more specifics.
Yeah, and there's about 15 of us that would love to be involved too.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool beans.
Yeah, cool.
I think
Great,
that'll
thank
be
you.
great. Alrighty. I don't think there's anybody else on the list.
Madam Chair, can I make a couple of comments? I'm not on the agenda.
Yeah, I was just fixing to move to that to city comments period.
Okay,
Or
I'm Jim
citizen.
O'Connell, I'm the precinct 29 committeeman for the Republican Party, we're precinct 29. Joe Gish was the only county commissioner we endorsed, or candidate for county commissioner. And then we endorsed Colton Bennett for representative, and Dan Foreman for senator, because we're L6, Legislative District 6. And those are the only candidates we endorsed, and we actually gave them money, which has never been done before. We think it's so important that these people get elected. And the other people running against Mr. Gish are either for open primary, ranked choice voting, or part of the clique that is pushing it, even though they won't say one way or the other really, or have actually lied. And we have a lot of politicians that lie around here.
Really?
Not
I never thought that.
Are you kidding?
If Mr. Gish is, I'm not great friends with Mr. Gish, we barely know each other. But he was very instrumental in changing the way Lewiston does government. Tell me if I'm wrong about any of this.
No, you're right.
And, you know, they had a city manager system that was totally unaccountable, a weak mayor, and a useless city council. And they changed that. Even though I'm not great buddies with the mayor of Lewiston, he's a strong mayor. They got rid of the city manager system of government, or managing the city. And so you've proven am I right on all that?
Yeah, that was the Prop 1 initiative
Yeah, Prop
that we
1.
saw. Lewiston Smart did all the signature gathering, and then we ran the campaign for, the way they worded it, it made it hard to understand, so we had to do a lot of education, but we changed it to an elected mayor because, frankly, I dealt with the city manager as part of the airport, and I think he was corrupt, and that wiped out the city manager, the city council. Now we have an elected mayor, and I think it's been an improvement. So
absolutely, and everybody had high hopes for the new city manager, but it proved out that, much like the airport board, that Joe quit, that it was corrupt. And your ex-county or city attorney was the airport board attorney, and she was diddling one of the, one of the airport commissioners, who's been under federal RICO indictment at least twice.
Really?
and that's all true too.
At least twice. I'm a historian. I know what happens around here.
All righty. So,
But what I'm saying is the Nez County Republican Party Central Committee endorsed Joe Gish.
endorse it.
Outstanding.
And if you have questions about any of the other three, I can answer those too.
All righty.
But they may not like it though.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the support too. It's a whole new central committee now.
Awesome.
They've
They're
got
trying to
political
change
influence
that.
now, yeah.
Do we have anybody else? Okay. So, I'm going to remind everybody that the next city council meeting is June 12th, second Wednesday of June at 6 p.m. in this building. I think that's all for our business today. And I would like to move to just adjourn. We're adjourned. Have a great evening, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time. I know it's probably.
You're good.
Yeah.